All right, let's see here. Check one, check two. Want to make sure everybody can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Sir. All right. Make sure we in. Check one, check two. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. And I want to congratulate everybody for tuning in to our Facebook Live Credit Master Show today. I'm your host, Emmanuel Michael. I'm joined with Attorney Charles Irvin and Dr. Leslie Peters. How you gentlemen doing today?
Doing great, Emmanuel. How are you?
Man, I'm outstanding. How you doing,
I'm
Charles?
great, man. I'm great.
Hey, that's good,
brand new
man.
Monday, brand new week.
Brand new week. Any consumer debt cases this week you want to share with us?
No, actually, I've been taking care of a couple other things over in the federal court, so that's where I've been all day.
Hey, man, we understand. We definitely appreciate you guys tuning in today. Guys, you know, these guys are the nuts and bolts of our credit restoration program, Irvin Law. They represent Irvin-Law. And these guys are some of the best individuals in the country when it comes to helping individuals with personal credit, any type of consumer debt issues. So we just honored and blessed to be able to communicate with them for about 30 minutes each day as we're launching this Credit Masters live show with our collaborative partnership. You know, we know that this thing is going to take off and grow to new heights where we're able to help people all over the country, you know, and around the world who may be from the U.S. and still suffering from credit issues. So we're just excited. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started in this thing. My name is Emmanuel Michael, coming all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a member of the Credit Masters, folks, and we definitely appreciate you again tuning in. So as we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do here at Credit Masters and Irvin Law. We challenge 100% of all the negative items on your credit report. We do that by using a law called the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And basically that law is set up to protect you and I as the consumer from the big three credit reporting agencies, namely Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Now, these guys have certain laws that are set in place to protect us from these big three credit reporting agencies. Now, oftentimes they don't follow the law, and that's when you have to get somebody like Irvin Law to come in and set them straight. So we definitely appreciate them being able to do that, and we want you to know that you can actually ask us any questions today. You know, we're going to open it up for Q&A. We're going to have question and answer as well. So if you have any questions about any of the topics that we talked about last week in episodes 1 through 5, or any questions from today, definitely go ahead and write your questions at the bottom of the screen on this Facebook Live. And we hope that we can get to them during this call. And if not, we'll make sure we get to it at the next available time. So again, so I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off with our topic for the day. Our topic for the day is what credit means to business owners. What does credit mean to business owners? And you know, I got 6 simple steps that I wanted to touch on today. 6 simple steps towards building business credit. And it's very important, folks, you know, before you even get to the 6 steps of building business credit, you got to have your personal credit to get together. Ain't that right, fellas?
That's absolutely right.
No doubt about it.
You know, you can start out saying that, hey, you know, I got a business, I got a dream, you know, and that dream can quickly turn to a nightmare when you realize that you can't get the funding that you need. You know, your personal credit is not where it needs to be. You may not have a lot of stuff on your credit report, but you don't have the scores or the history that a lender is looking for, and it can cause some frustration. So we just want to be able to give you some tools and some strategies that you can utilize. You know, if you're in that sector, if this applies to you, or you may know somebody that it applies to, that you can actually give to them, and you can apply yourself in your life, so we can help you get to the next level. So step 1, gentlemen. Step 1 in establishing or the steps to building business credit is establish your business company structure. Dr. Charles Irvin, let's talk about the business company structure and why that is so important. You got any insight on that?
Well, a couple things. You want to structure your company in such a way that you can take advantage of your tax laws and so that you don't get bogged down. You also want to structure it in a way that you give yourself a layer of protection from litigation, from unscrupulous business practices. So when we go in, we look at what's most advantageous. A lot of people start as sole proprietorships, meaning that they just wake up one morning and doing their thing. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people make it that way. But understand that when you start as a sole proprietor and keep going as a sole proprietor, any actions taken against you are going to affect your personal assets. So we try to look at what structure would be most advantageous, whether it's an LLC, which is a limited liability company, and understand you can do the same thing you were doing as a sole proprietor as a one-person LLC, have the benefit of having that extra layer of protection. You can also do S corps or C or traditional partnership. All of those things will give you layers of protection. Each one has its own advantages and disadvantages. And then on the nonprofit side, depending on what you're doing, there are several categories of nonprofits according to the IRS, and those categories, we shape those. We put you in the right vehicle based off of what your mission statement is, what you're trying to achieve, and what you're going to be doing long term, so that you don't have to switch in and out. We want to look at that by doing an assessment first, looking at where you are in creating a business plan, which would include your mission and vision, and then building out from there. And that applies to profit and nonprofit. So you want to be putting yourself in the best position, but the way you do that is you have to actually sit down and do a little planning on the front end so that you can have protection on the back end.
That's right. That's right. And and I've always told people, you got to have that foundational structure, man. You got to have that foundational structure from tax purposes. And, again, it still goes back to personal credit. You may want to expand your marketing campaign with your company, but you may need to get a credit card to do so. And if you don't have the proper credit in place, folks, you're not going to be able to do that. Even if you have your company structure there, you're going to look for issue and things that you probably should be able to do yourself, only because you don't have the credit. That's the only thing that's limiting to you. I'm gonna go ahead and give that number out, Charles, because Charles, you also help, you and Leslie, you guys also work with nonprofits as well. That's right.
That's correct. We do everything from review of bylaws and review of your board structure to training in-house general counsel. If you're brand new, we can help you game plan how to go about completing the process. A lot of people are intimidated by the nonprofit process, but Leslie and I have many, many years of experience in setting those up. We've been doing them for over 15 years. So let us take a look at what you have, and we can put you in the right vehicle. Whether it's from forming a super PAC for political purposes to taking care of charter schools, or one success story that I'll tell you real quick. We have working interest and collaboration with Building Professionals Group. Leslie and I, Antonio and John Abram, many years ago, we hit the speaking circuit at the urging of Antonio to let the children in the Black community see success as business professionals rather than just rappers or athletes. And so we started there. We looked at the mission, we looked at the vision, and we put everything in place step by step. And it's going strong. It's going strong. And so that's just one example. What we can step.
You know, I think to pick up there, lost you, Charles, for a second there. At least I did. But to piggytail off what he said, or piggyback off what he said, you know, also the strategic planning process, which can be very daunting for some, is a very necessary tool to help strengthen your board, who is your main resource that helps you raise the funds needed to operate the organization and to carry out that mission that you've created. So I tell people, you have to understand through the strategic planning process what your goals are, what you're trying to do, what needs to be done, who's best aligned to be able to have the most success at this endeavor, aligning people to tasks with accountability on it in terms of dates and timelines, and then having an action plan that actually implements when certain things are going to happen. And so that when you meet and have your board meetings every month, you're not just meeting to meet, you're meeting around objectives and things you've outlined in terms of deliverables. And so you can monitor and adjust. So you can make adjustments and monitor based on the circumstances of life, but you're working toward an attainable plan because you have action steps, deliverables, and milestones.
Now, folks, what we want you to do, we want you to go over to our Facebook page. Like this is live, like our Facebook page. If you're looking at this on YouTube or on one of our websites, we want you to go over to Facebook, hit the like button, like the page. Also, we want you to go to creditmasterslive.com. That's creditmasterslive.com. We got a couple free gifts over there for you just for tuning in. And if you're watching this live broadcast, give us a couple of hearts and a couple of thumbs up likes on the page as well, folks. And our phone number, if you want to get in contact with Irvin Law, that number is area code 601-340-6800. Again, that's 601-340-6800 to get in contact with Irvin Law. Okay, guys, we're going to move to step two. Step two in the steps of building your business credit. Step one is or your company structure. Two is make sure you are corporate compliant. That you may run into a company set up. They did it themselves. They set up with the state, sit down and local licenses and things of that nature, you know. So let's talk about why that is so important when it comes to, building business credit. Because what I've come to find out is that lenders, when they begin to do the background on your company, they're going to check for all this stuff. And if you don't have something in line properly, then that can be a reason why you get denied credit for your company. So you want to make sure that you got your company structure in place and you're corporately compliant. You want to make sure that you're caught up every year on your annual dues. You know, so it's a lot that goes into running a company outside of just getting up, going to work every day. And I think that a lot of people who jump heads in first, a lot of surprises oftentimes pop up, you know, even from, you know, we was talking about this last week, Leslie, even from a marketing standpoint, you know, things have changed so much in the world that if you don't have a digital marketing campaign or digital marketing system set up, then you're going to be behind. So, you know, that's step two. You want to add something to that, Leslie?
No, you know, I think it's very true to understand. You know, a lot of times people put marketing and sales together. They are two very unique disciplines. They are not one of the same. So I'll give you an example. I have a lot of sales experience. Marketing is a whole new world. And then when you look, that's traditional marketing. Then when you add digital marketing, which has come about because of the internet and social media, that's a totally different segmentation within marketing as a whole. So then you have to align yourself with partnerships and collaborative efforts to give your organization the skills that you don't possess internally. So you have to be creative as well.
I want to jump in right here. I want to jump in right here and say, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I want to jump in right here and say that corporate compliance, look at it from a slightly different angle, because I don't want people to get confused and say, well, if I've got my LLC set up, or if I got my partnership set up, then I can jump directly to marketing. You can, but there are other things that you need to be taken care of on an annual basis. You've got filings that you need to make with the state. Depending on the type of work that you do, you may have filings, other things that you need to file federally or also with the state. You need to have a sexual harassment policy. You need to have diversity policy. All of these things are things that you need in order to have sound compliance in-house.
You mean to
And
tell
those
me
are
if I got a lawn service, I need to have sexual harassment policies in place and handbooks?
believe it or not, depending on the type of lawn service you have, you may be going in and out of apartment complexes, and you want to have that issue covered. So make sure you have those type of things put together, and we can help you with those things. And that's why we talk about in-house counsel. We don't necessarily have to be sitting there with you in order to be in-house counsel. We can serve as in-house counsel for you in America, and help you take care of those things. That goes hand in hand with having the strategic vision. You want to have that. You want to have that checklist of things in-house that you need to take care of, so that your business is not stung by issues that pop up. Let us help you anticipate those.
Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. Phone number is 800. That's 601-340-law.com. Masterslive.com. Put in and choose your free nice. We have our ballot. They also have our Charlie. Yeah, we have an electronic debt validation letter, Charles. Vendors list for individuals who are looking to raise their business.
I think we're getting some type of technical issue going on, Emmanuel, because I was not able to hear that last piece of information you shared with the public. Can you go over that one more time?
Absolutely, absolutely. I was just basically saying that, they can go over to irvin-law.com. They can go over to creditmasterslive.com, put their email address in. They put the email address in, the information. We got a couple of freebies over there for them. If they're interested in personal credit, business, and we got for you pipeline as the growth or whatever your goals are, if it's with your company. One, two, I want to touch on with corporate compliance. Also, when, Leslie, you were speaking about marketing, you also have to make sure marketing client don't want to put anything out with your company in jeopardy either. Charles, I don't know if you want to touch on that briefly. We got 4 more steps, but if you want to touch on that briefly, go right ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand your question.
Okay.
Looks like we're having a little IT problem in Atlanta.
Yes. Something is going there.
About
giving Mayo a chance to check his bandwidth connection and replug back in, but I don't think we caught all of what he was trying to communicate. So we'll give him a second to rejoin us. But I know he wanted to have you, Charles, to go in deeper, take a deeper dive into an issue around one of those areas before we went into step 4 on business credit. So while he's circling back, do you want to expound on what you were talking about, particularly with the structures? And so many people are becoming sole proprietors today and don't really realize what that opens them up to.
Yeah, I mean, I touched on it, but the biggest problem you're going to have is liability, and which means that you're opening yourself up for your assets, whether it be your house, your bank account, retirement. Those things are at risk when you're a sole proprietor, because if somebody comes after you and a judgment is issued against you, you have to be able to pay it, and that's how they can go after it. So that's key. And that LLC it lets you operate similar to a sole proprietorship, but it gives you that layer of insulation. You wouldn't build a house without insulation, so you don't want to build your business without insulation.
So wait a minute. So in other words, are you saying that to operate as a sole proprietor and not know the options and what you're open to is like building a house with the foundation on top of the house instead of the house on top of the foundation?
I wouldn't go that far, because there are certain advantages in certain areas of business that can operate just fine as sole proprietors. I don't want anyone to think that I'm knocking sole proprietorship. What I'm saying is there is a vehicle available to you. There are several vehicles available to you that provide you with that layer of coverage. We live let's just be real about it. We live in a society where people fix their problems by going to court and suing. Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, you want to prepare for that from day one. So you set up your LLC. We hadn't talked about the tax ramifications and all that stuff. I think right now we're just talking about foundational elements, but each one of those has certain tax ramifications that come along with them. For instance, as a sole proprietor, when you do your taxes, they're going to collect information on your business, and you may end up doing a loan form and itemizing, but it's direct one-to-one taxing. What you bring in is what you're taxed on. Same thing if it's a one-person LLC. The forms may be a little different, but that's going to be your basic setup. I didn't really touch on S corps, because one of the segments of business that we look at are small to mid-sized businesses, and frankly, LLC is plenty to cover that area. So I don't want to get bogged down in taxes and scare people away, because we want them to go out there and be creative and try to make it. It's the American dream, baby. You want to get out there and do whatever it is you do, and do it well. Just know that there are different foundational elements that need to be in place. So that's a long answer to your question about the foundation being on top of the house. I would say it more like you wouldn't build a house without windows. You wouldn't build a house without insulation, because you gotta get ready for the wintertime. We had a little social lanyard on Friday where we talked about power. This is a perfect time for us to do it again. You want to have that layer of insulation, because winter is coming. For all those Game of Thrones people out there, they know winter is here. So you want to make sure that you plan for it, that you prepare for it, and we can help you with that. It doesn't take weeks and weeks to do that. We can sit down, pull out a checklist, go down the checklist, and take care of those structural elements. But more than just a checklist, because you can find a checklist on Google. You can find a checklist for just about anything on Google. What you want is somebody that has the experience and an empathy for what you're trying to do to help you shape your vision, to maybe clean it up. It's just like writing a book. You won't write a book and put it out there without having your editor look at it and take out the grammatical errors. That's us on the legal side.
See, that's why I don't leave home without my attorney. I got my attorney on lock.
That's right, folks. So go ahead and reach out to us, guys. Go to urban-law.com. Go to creditmasterslive.com. Also, give us a call at 601-340-6800. Again, at 601-340-6800. Step 3, guys. Step 3 is business bank account. Business bank account. You want to make sure that you have a business bank account. This is very important when you talk about establishing and growing business credit. Leslie, you want to pick that up?
Yeah. I think it's very, very important to know that there's a unique difference, because when you have a business bank account, then you're writing checks from your business, you're receiving money into your business. That's going to allow you to create a merchant account and do the things you need to do to be able to take electronic forms of payment in every way. I always tell somebody, the day where you can't take payment in the multiple forms, then you're doing a disservice to yourself and to your customers. So I always tell people, somebody asked me the other day at Urban Law, do you guys take check? I say, I'll take your check, your credit card, whatever you got. I'll take text to payment, whatever you got.
Right.
We'll find a way to take it, because it shouldn't be an inconvenience to you. So you want to make sure you're in that digital realm. Now, what I've had people go to your bank, they have a lot of programs for, a small business starting out. Ask them about it. Ask them about the incentives. They got packages. Sometimes they'll give you a stamp for free with your business name on it. Sometimes they give you free checking, business checking. Ask those questions. Ask, what do they have in place to help a small business or a new starter or startup in starting their business if you open your business bank account with that bank. So make sure you ask them what they can do for you.
Great. So we're going to pause right there on step 3. We got 3, 4, and 5 coming up, but we got a question coming in from Alicia Peterson. Ms. Peterson's question is, I paid off lingering debt, some dating over 6 years ago, but paid it off. I started working in 2014 and most completed by 2016. I'm left with student loans, a car to pull my scores up. Also has, I guess this is a 2-part question. I started a LLC. This was established to help me start my own business. Will this be looked at as a business? Those are great questions, Alicia. And I think you know what I'm going to do? This is a 2-part question, so why don't you take the first part, Leslie, and then we'll have Charles pick up the second question. So the first question was, she paid off lingering debt, some dating over 6 years ago. She started working on her credit back in 2014, got it done by 2016. She left with student loans, a car note, regular monthly bills. How can she get her credit scores up? And that's good she asked that question, because that's the topic of tomorrow's episode.
Yes. Well, the first thing I would say is congratulations to you for being aggressive and taking action on your future and your credit profile. So that's the first thing I want to say is congratulations to you. Secondly, when you paid these debts off in 2014, the question is, did you leave those accounts open or did you close those accounts when you paid them off? That's a very important thing, because if your scores are not going up and you've paid this debt off, then what's happening is your debt, your credit utilization is still a problem, because you eliminated your credit lines because you paid them off. And so now you don't have enough credit to show you as a good steward. So ideally, you want to be at 30% or less of your credit available to you. So if you have $100,000 in credit available to you, you don't want to spend over $30,000 each month. And so if you close that, and so you have zero balances, but maybe you used to have $15,000 of credit out there. Once you paid it, you reduced the line, and now you only have $5,000 of credit line available. Even though you're not using that $5,000, even though it might have a zero balance at the end of the month, you no longer have that extra $15,000 that helps your debt equity ratio, which makes up 30% of your score. So you're losing 30% right there. So we probably need to work on building, and this is without me seeing your profile and seeing it exactly, but we probably need to work on building your additional credit so that we can get your credit utilization down, which will immediately get your score up.
That's good, man. I've told people that over the years, that's our companies, they'll go in and they'll just start deleting that stuff, not realizing that they're deleting that a person may have. Just because you got two, or even if the account got charged off, you deal with that is the big issue, because like Pete said, if you don't, the fastest way to raise your credit score is to raise your high credit limit. So if you don't have anything there, then not only are you losing 30% of your credit profile, you're also losing another 35%. So you 5% just got hit with. Now, she said she had student loans, which we all got, and
Right.
some still paying on, car note, regular monthly bill. She definitely, I would suggest, Alicia, that you want to get involved with the program. We got a special going on right now where we waiving the setup fee. Setup fee normally $50, but you can actually go to irvin-law.com or put your information inbox your information over. I'll get that over to Dr. Peters so he can have a conversation with you and get you on the right path on what you need to do in order to get your scores up and get moving. And, you had the second question. I want to turn this over to Charles. Her business is registered as Makeup by Alicia, LLC. I like that. And this was established to help her start her own business. So her question is, will this be looked at as a business?
Depending on the age of it, depending on the amount of work you've actually done through your LLC. Initially, most credit companies, banks, financial institutions are going to weigh your personal background more heavily than the business. That's just a fact. So what you want to do first is continue to clean up on, but you still want to, you may have to do some merchant accounts and some other things that Leslie or Emmanuel can guide you on to help you build out your profile. But yes, initially they're going to look at the business. They're going to give you a small percentage of credit for it if it's a young business. And if it's an old business with bad habits, then they're going to weigh that in too. But I think it sounds like you have a proactive approach to what you're trying to do, and strategically you're going at it. So I think you probably just need a little bit of help to get over that hump. And that help is going to be in part of your strategic vision is going to be, how do I build out my business profile? I think those guys can help you with that on the business side really well.
Okay, yeah, and I would say, call me, 601-340-6800. My direct extension is 252. And let's talk about it. And look specifically at your exact situation, and then I can answer your question specifically based on your actual circumstance. So we have to be a little bit general because we don't know exactly the specifics of it, but we can certainly get you on the right track quickly.
Okay, guys, we're about 6 minutes after our time. We stopped at step 3, business bank account. Step 4 is business phone line. So, Alicia, you may want to write these steps down as well. This can possibly help you out. Business phone line. Step 5, Dun & Bradstreet account and number. Or Experian business credit account and number. And step 6 is business credit vendors. Business credit vendors. Those are my 6 steps for is helping the individual build their business credit. Step 1, establish your business credit company structure. Step 2, make sure you're corporate compliant. Step 3, business bank account. Step 4, business phone line. Step 5, Dun & Bradstreet account number. And step 6, business credit vendors. Put those steps to work, guys. We can actually go in more details. If you got any questions, put your questions in the bottom of the chat here. Inbox us at Irvin-Law Facebook page or Credit Masters Live Facebook page. We'll love to bring those questions on the live call, get those questions answered for you so we can give you all the tools that you need in order to be successful in life. So we definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. And again, if you go to creditmasterslive.com, we have our freebies over there. Go to changemyscores.com, and I'm going to make sure that I put all of these URLs in the bottom of this link here, bottom of this live. So if you're watching this late at night and it's not live, you can also click the link below and go to those websites and actually see our phone number and give us a call the next day, and somebody be in contact with you within the next 24 to 48 hours. Guys, you got anything else you want to add to that before we wrap up?
No, I think that's the key, taking action. And again, keep the questions coming and even send the questions in tonight. If they come in after that, we'll make sure we answer them tomorrow's show. And certainly give me a call if you want to go more in detail. So looking forward to speaking.
Okay. Charles, any final words?
Well, I would just say maybe we should spend a little bit of time tomorrow when we get kicked off on 4, 5, and 6 because we don't hang it. We want to give them the rest of the story, and that way, I think we probably can ensure that they have that 6-point plan in place because that'll go a long way to help them get off the ground.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, I second that motion, sir. So 2 out of 3. I know, Pete, you got to vote with us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So tomorrow, guys, on episode 7, the fastest way to improve your credit score, the fastest way to episode 7. In the first part of tomorrow's broadcast, we're going to go over steps 4, 5, your business credit. Hey, folks, I'm your host, Les Turbin. As always, here at the Credit Masters Live Show, we appreciate you tuning in. Tune in tomorrow from 5:15 to 5:45, and if you're on the East Coast, 6:15 to 6:45, each and every day, where we're coming to you with all the tools that you need in order to take your life to the next level. Just remember, folks, you too can have it all. Our motto here at the Credit Masters is, the results are real.